So I think it's fair to say that the stock prices of many companies have been going up and down over the past year, but regardless of these changes, we continue to buy anyway. And that's why today I'm going to share with you guys the 5 companies that I continue to hold, I continue to buy more of every single time, no matter what the stock prices does, no matter if it goes up or it goes down or whatever the case is. So pretty much my top holdings, my favorite stocks, the one I'll just continue to hold, and the ones I plan on holding for a very long time. So from these 5 companies, 2 of them are dividend kings and 3 of them are dividend aristocrats. So the difference between these is that dividend kings have been growing and increasing their dividend yield for over 50 years, up all 50 years, and dividend aristocrats have been doing this for 25 years. So I do wonder if you guys can probably guess what companies these are before I even say them. But for me, I do have 2 dividend kings and I do have 3 dividend aristocrats. So the first company, so my first company that I really love, that I've continued to buy and hold, would be 3M. The reason I love 3M so much is that they're very diversified. 3M is almost like a little ETF, if you get what I mean. It's not an ETF, but it is almost like an ETF on its own, simply because it's a company that's very diversified within itself. So they do things like, different products, they're into electronics and tech in some sort of aspect. They're also into, cleaning products and just so many products. That's the amazing thing about 3M. So the good thing about this is they have basically made themselves into a company that most people need every single day. So in terms of the roads, 3M is involved. In terms of things you have at home, you probably have some 3M products at home as well. In terms of electronics, 3M is also involved. But the thing is, we don't notice this because 3M isn't really like that big company that everyone speaks about. So when you think of Apple, you think of the iPhone and the Apple Watch and the Apple TV and stuff like that. When you think of Samsung, you also think of phones and things like that. But when you think of 3M, they don't really put themselves out there. They're not really the name or the face of different brands, but they are the one in the background that are actually making these products. The one amazing thing about 3M is that they've been growing their dividend yield for over 62 years now. I think about 62 years now, or 67, something along that line, but this is just amazing regardless. And what this means is they're probably even getting closer to that mark of, growing their dividend yield for about 100 years very soon. I mean, we haven't seen any company that's done this yet, but I'm pretty sure 3M will get there eventually. So the amazing thing about this is most companies that get into that region of growing their dividend yield for about 50 years or more, they retain that status. They try to actually hold that. So the amazing thing about this is that we will continue to see an increase in 3M's payout and everything like that. So this just means more money in the future, even if I do hold now. So I'm almost guaranteed to get paid more if I don't even buy more shares. So assuming right now I stopped paying, I stopped buying 3M stocks, I will continue to get paid more and more over the years, because 3M is probably guaranteed or will most likely increase their dividend payout every single year. Currently their dividend payout is at 67%, which is really good. So most dividend stocks, their payout should be at least over 60. Over that 60% mark is really good. And most analysts actually rate this stock as a buy right now, which I do agree with. I mean, do take this as this information with a grain of salt, but I also do agree on buying 3M. I always try to buy 3M on every single dip. I try to avoid green days because I love red days. I've said this in most of my videos. When there's a dip, that's when I try to buy a stock, because you're just getting it for cheaper. There's no point in really buying on green days. I mean, you can. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's obviously always best to buy when it's cheaper. You're just gonna make more money in the long run. But that is 3M for me. 3M is just it's almost like an ETF on its own. So I really love 3M for that reason. The dividend yield is good, dividend payout is good, everything about them is just solid. So the next company for me would be Coke, ticker symbol KO. So I'm pretty sure you're probably expecting this. Coke is in most, or Coca-Cola is in most people's portfolios on one of the greatest dividend investors portfolio and everything like that. But I really love Coke. I really love the Coke stock anyway, simply because of just the brand and how they've been developing themselves, for a very long time. So one interesting thing is, I personally don't like the Coke, like as in drink. I don't like the drink. Reason being just the amount of sugar and everything like that. So I don't like the drink, but I do love the company, though I don't even like the actual products that they make. But the interesting thing is, you probably didn't know, or some of you might know, that Coke doesn't actually just make Coke alone. You'd be surprised to know that they also make drinks like, Fanta, which is also another one that most people love. They're also into water themselves. So, Smart Water is actually made by Coke. So this is also another region that they have taken. So they make literally pretty much every beverage out there. So when you see most people drinking, Smart Water, that's also, adding to the profit that Coke is making. Fanta also mentioned, and they have Coke, and they have different type of Coke. So they have Coke that has caffeine in it. They have the Coke Zero. They have actual Coca-Cola itself. They have I'm pretty sure they have at least 10 different varieties of Coke that pretty much reach most people. So the amazing thing about Coke is that they have continued to grow their company from small, from just being a Coke products, and now having literally some sort of beverage that appeals every single individual pretty much on earth. They're really, really diversified. They pretty much reach every single audience, and they really specialize in marketing. If you realize you always see Coke adverts, you've probably been seeing it for years now. They always make adverts, and that's how they reach most people. So in addition to this, Coke has been growing their dividend yield for 59 years now. So of course this now puts them into that dividend king category, and hopefully they will continue to increase the dividend yield as well, just because it does actually attract more people to buy their stock. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to get out of that dividend king category, because most companies that get into it don't get out of it. Their dividend yield is also at 3.18%. So this is also a good yield. This is one that I look for. I always try to invest in stocks to have a dividend yield from 3% to about that 4% region. Nothing too low, nothing too high either, just for security and safety. And their dividend safety score is also at 80. So this is a very, very, very solid company. Coke is one that I'm probably going to be holding for a very, very, very long time. They're just a solid company. The dividend is nice, everything's sweet. So the more shares I buy, the more money I'm gonna make from them, almost guaranteed. So before I get into the next company, just to make it clear, I am not a dividend investor. This is my opinion, so be sure to just take it as that. This is my opinion. Doesn't mean go and invest in Coke and go and pull your money into 3M and stuff. Just look into them. This is my opinion, so look into it and make your decision if this is a really good stock for you also. But for the next company, we have Realty Income. So Realty Income is like my baby. I don't know why, but I've loved Realty Income from the beginning, since I started investing. Realty Income is just that monthly paying dividend stock that I love, because of course I love to see money being paid every single month. It's nice, getting paid every quarter and getting like a larger amount, but being able to get a significant amount every month is also, a nice booster. It keeps me going. It keeps me investing even more money every single time. So Realty Income, ticker symbol O, is a REIT stock. So REIT stock is basically, real estate. It's almost like me getting into real estate, but not really real estate, because of course I can't afford to actually buy, a house and stuff right now to rent out and all that. But Realty Income kind of allowed me to do so, but in a fake way, if I want to put it that way. But the thing about REITs is REITs have to pay back to their shareholders. They have to pay 90% of their rent income and household income basically back to shareholders. So this is just a guaranteed income. Again, as I said, it's basically almost like owning a real estate, but without owning real estate. So the thing about Realty Income as well is they rent properties out to big companies that you're not really aware of. So major companies will continue to need buildings. They will continue to need properties to pretty much continue to make their money. So real estate is almost leveraging these big companies to make money. So they're almost guaranteed to make profit every single time. And the more money they make, we just get paid monthly every single time. And they have to pay quite a large sum of money back to shareholders. So I've been trying to find more companies like Realty Income that can pay monthly, but I just haven't exactly found that sweet spot yet. I mean, I do have some other ones, I tried some other monthly paying companies, but it's just not the same. There's just kind of some downfalls about these companies. But Realty Income right now is one that I'm just always gonna hold. It's just that sweet monthly paying company, and their dividend safety score is at 70, which is really, really good. It's even more secure than AT&T. And the dividend yield is also really, really nice. It's almost like that perfect balanced company. The dividend yield is really good. Dividend safety score is really good. Most people recommend them to buy. Every beginner investor should almost buy Realty Income, in my opinion. But most importantly, their business model is just really, really good, because real estate will continue to grow. It's going to continue to inflate in price. Companies are always going to continue to need buildings and stuff to work at, no matter what really happens. Even if things become technological and all of that, people will still need buildings to work in, especially big companies. They just need it. It's just an essential thing. So as long as Realty Income continues to continue to grow, they do have the dividend streak and dividend increase yield streak and everything like that at 26 years, quite a long time as well. So they are in that dividend aristocrat category at the moment. So yeah, Real to Income has a long way to go before it reach Dividend King, but Real to Income is looking to be a promising company, and I just personally love Real to Income just because that's my #1 monthly paying company, and I do plan on increasing this even more so that way I can start getting a large sum of money every single month. But for this next company, this is going to be AT&T. So AT&T is one I also really cherish, you know. I just really love AT&T. AT&T is almost like the more risky side of all of this. Out of these 5 companies, AT&T is probably the most risk just because it is a solid company, but theirs is a lot more simply because they do have a lot of debt that, you know, is weighing them down, but they will continue to pay this off, of course, but that's just one hiccup. They also have made some bad decisions in the past, you know, by owning certain companies that didn't really, you know, work out for them. AT&T is pretty much a company that just knows exactly how to reach its audience. So the reason I say this is that AT&T is pretty much spread into, let's say, like 3 categories. So we have broadband, we have the streaming services, and we have, you know, communication in general. So without going into too much detail, what they really do is, you know, the broadband, you know, 5G and all of that stuff, that's what AT&T is really involved in. So the 5Gs and, you know, the communication services and broadband and all those, you know, intricate sections of stuff, that's what they deal with. But the part that I'm really, you know, aware of is Warner Media. So in terms of this, they have their own, you know, streaming services almost similar to Netflix, and this is where most of their revenue is also coming in from. So they also recently launched this service called HBO Max. So this is where they, you know, stream like Game of Thrones. Of course, Game of Thrones is an absolute banger. For those who know, if you've watched Game of Thrones, be sure to drop a like and leave a comment down below just to let me know, because for me, Game of Thrones is probably one of my best and my favorite TV shows of all time. But anyway, they stream things like Game of Thrones, so of course they're gonna continue to bring out even more and more like awesome TV shows, basically that's basically specialized and just for them, so that way they are able to actually draw in more audience that's probably gonna subscribe. And, you know, when you get into that subscription service now, that's how they're going to continue to make even more and more revenue. But also things like, you know, Cartoon Network and stuff, that's also to do with them. So I guess, again, it's just like all these things you don't really think about. Like, unless you really do research on it, you're not really going to know what company deals with it. But of course, you're not going to think of AT&T as Cartoon Network, if you get what I mean. Cartoon Network is kind of the brand that, you know, they use to actually attract audiences, because most people recognize Cartoon Network. I mean, I used to watch Cartoon Network when I was younger, not now, but when I was much younger. So yeah, so that's the thing about AT&T. You know, it's kind of a little mini diversified tech service there. It is a bit more on the risky side because their dividend safety score is at 60. So it is more on the risky side compared to, you know, Coke and the rest of them. But regardless of that, they've also been growing their dividend yield and things for about 37 years now. So again, that's amazing. So being able to grow that for 37 years puts them in that dividend aristocrat category. So they're really close to being a dividend king as well, if they continue to, you know, play their ball well, continue to make the right moves, and, you know, just continue to make the right purchases and things. Then I'm pretty sure AT&T is going to be on that sweet spot. I also love AT&T because of their dividend yield. The dividend yield is on the higher side at 6.7. It was at 7%, I think, probably a year ago or less, but yeah, now it's about 6.7. It's still on the higher side of my whole portfolio. I'm pretty sure AT&T is one of my highest paying dividend stocks that I own at this moment in time, and I own about 4 shares or 3.5 shares of AT&T at the moment. So I'm definitely going to increase this over the years, and, you know, I'm going to continue to buy on dips pretty much. But analysts do have AT&T on hold, but for me, I probably disagree with this. I think I'll continue to buy AT&T regardless of the situation, because I feel like most people also kind of look down on AT&T, of course, again, because of their high debt and stuff. But for me, every time there's a dip, I will just continue to buy AT&T, Coke, and, you know, the rest of the stocks I'm going to mention in this video. Yeah, they're just stocks I'm going to continue to buy little of, you know. Right now I have about £100 to, you know, spend to invest into a couple stocks. I'm not really sure what I'm going to invest in yet. Right now I'm just waiting for a significant amount of, you know, drop in the stock market so I can actually buy even more stocks. So for the last company, this is one that most of you guys might not think about, but for me this is going to be Kimberly-Clark. So Kimberly-Clark, ticker symbol KMB, is a recent company that I actually recently found. Yeah, I was looking to diversify my portfolio even more, and I came across KMB and I just fell in love with it. I just thought, this is amazing, this is beautiful, ticks all the boxes of everything I needed. And let me just tell you why. So the first major thing is I always try to find companies with a dividend yield of over 3%. So KMB ticks that. Their dividend streak is also really high. They are a dividend aristocrat company. That's also another good thing. They also are extremely diversified, and the main reason why I love KMB is simply because they are a company that has developed itself to make sure that they provide services that are essential and that isn't going anywhere. What I mean by this is that KMB provides essential products like personal care products and tissues and things like that. So this means that personal care products, so for example, they provide diapers. Diapers is one thing that's always going to be needed. I don't know if diapers going to go extinct and all of a sudden, little babies aren't going to wear diapers no more and they're just going to go straight into wearing, big man jeans and stuff like that. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure diapers are always going to be essential. So KMB really they're at the top of their market in terms of diapers. Like the amazing thing is that when parents or mothers and stuff get diapers, they're most likely don't get different products. So why KMB is really leading in this is that when a mother, for example, buys one of their products on Amazon or whatever the case is, they just continue to buy that over and over again. So it's almost like a subscription service, but not intentional. That's the amazing thing. And things like diapers is something that's always going to be needed, always going to be essential. Tissues as well is something that everyone needs. So last year, tissues were going extinct from the marketplaces. Everyone was rushing for tissues. Tissues were gone. So that there is just like a buttload of sum of money for KMB. Just flooding money, and tissues aren't really expensive to make either. So it's literally like a high amount of profit for them. But without going into too much detail, KMB is just one I really love. You guys should probably do some research and actually, find out more information yourself. I'm pretty sure most of you guys might have KMB or you might not, but it's one that I don't really see in most people's portfolios for some reason. One thing is that the dividend safety is also at 88%, which is just, sweet as well. I think it's the highest out of all these 5 companies that I've mentioned so far. So it's a really safe company. KMB isn't going anywhere. They, start from the bottom and now they're here. Everything's growing, everything's sweet, everything's stable. It's just a very stable company. As I said earlier, if I had like £1 billion or 2 billion or whatever, I probably wouldn't be able to take down KMB just because their business portfolio, their business idea is so solid that they have put themselves in a position that most people aren't gonna leave them. Most people aren't gonna go to different products. Most people are just gonna continue to buy their products over and over again, and they just continue to bring out new things that is just gonna dominate the market. The dividend growth streak is currently at 48 years, so they are very close to reaching that dividend king. I'll be so shocked and so surprised if they somehow don't hit this. I don't know what could possibly happen, but all they have to do is just hold this for like 2 more years or 3 more years, and boom, they're going to be part of that dividend king category. And of course, they're not going to leave after that, just because when you get to that mark, most companies don't leave because it just attracts more and more buyers. But that is my 5 companies. So what you guys are about to see is just simply how much money I'm getting for most of these companies. So of course, this shows most of the companies that I own, and right here we can see the top 20 companies that are actually paying me. So Realty Income is number 1. They pay me £6.09, so that's how much they're paying me at this moment in time. Then we have T, which is AT&T. Then we have ExxonMobil, which is also another one that I actually love, but I wouldn't say it's my top 5. Then after that, we can see 3M is also part of the top ones. KMB is also part of the top ones. So the reason why those aren't exactly high, like very high right now, is because they're quite expensive. So right now, I only own about like 2 shares of KMB. So of course, for me to buy more, it's going to be expensive, but it's one that I'm probably going to do in the next couple months. But right here, we can also see that January is a month that was lacking for me this year, just because of the companies that I own didn't really pay in January. So the reason why I love Realty Income now is that I'm going to increase that, so that way I get more payment in January from my January stocks. And I'm pretty sure KMB as well also pays in January, which is really good, because I'm trying to increase the amount of money I get in January. But we can see right here, so far March, September, December, these are just sweet months. This is when I get the most amount of money. But here we can just see how much I'm currently earning, and I'm able to see this through the app that I do have that I made. I made a video on it the other day, but if you guys do want to find this app where you can find most information, when you're going to get paid, upcoming dividend dates, and ex-div date and everything like that, how much I'm going to make, it pretty much tells me everything I need to know about my companies and everything like that. So right here we can also see in 2022, when you would take a look at January, I'm getting paid a whole lot more now, because by next year everything's going to just increase. So it kind of also tells me what's about to happen next year based on increases in dividend yield and increases in everything like that. So I'm gonna leave a link down below for you guys if you guys do want to check it out. It's a free app. You can pretty much get into it right away, put your holdings in, put, you know, the companies you have and everything like that. So that's a wrap. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here today. You know, it's another day, it's another good day, it's another day of making money, it's another day of sharing ideas. So yeah, I do hope you guys appreciate the video. I actually made this video because someone in the comments recommended that I make this. So yeah, and I said, you know what, why not, I'm gonna do so. So if you guys do want to see more videos or anything like that, be sure to drop it down in the comments below. My name is Sultan. Hope you did enjoy the video. Be sure to drop a like and be sure to subscribe. I really appreciate it if you do. You know, we're aiming for 500 subscribers. And yeah, have a good week. Take care of yourself.